Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're continuing our wide receiver rankings for the 2021 fantasy football season. We want to help you win your draft to win your league. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hey everyone, I am Justin, that is Kyle, and this is the Fantasy Football Upside. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it. If you've been following along, we've given you our last two episodes is our wide receiver threes. Now we're starting on wide receiver twos, so we are going through 24 through number 19. So if you want to check out the other wide receiver threes, click it down in the description below. There's going to be a link in where Kyle points right now too.
Yeah, right up there.
Right up there. Yeah. Right up there in the corner.
Right up there. All right, guys, we're excited to have you back. We want to help you win that
championship.
So make sure that you hit that like button down there like you, hit the wall at 30. All right, so it's a little brutal. But it's what happens. But yeah, we're continuing, as Justin said, wide receivers, early summer rankings. These are the two early rankings because, these are probably not going to be useful by the time you're drafting, because if you're drafting now and you need these rankings, get out of that league. It's a really bad league and you should get out. Don't do it. Beware the treasure. Do not seek the treasure, right? What is that movie? Yeah, you know what that movie is. So, Brother Warata. Do not seek the treasure. All right, but anyway, let's jump right in here. Dive in headfirst in the shallow end with wide receiver 24, Justin.
This is one of our guys, Deontay Johnson, Pittsburgh Steelers. He was startable in 9 of 15 games played in 2020, but this is one of my favorite stats so far as we were going through. He was wide receiver 4 in the games he finished. Stats. But he left 4 games because of injuries. So if he finished those out, this is going to be a really good season for him. I believe he's the number one target in this heavy pass volume offense. Chase Claypool's there. Juju Smith-Schuster is there. But I still think he's the number one target, and he cleans up some of those drops, stays a little healthier. This is going to be a great season for Deontay.
Coming into year 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They know how to draft wide receivers.
Yeah,
man.
But making the turn into year 3, that's an awesome year for wide receivers usually. So,
yep.
Especially guys who are heading in the right direction. So,
yep.
All right, at wide receiver 23, we've got Cooper Kupp. That's right, Cooper Kupp. Little Cooper Kupp. It was rough last year. He was wide receiver 44 in our 2020 power rankings at the end of the year. He played 15 games with 6 startable finishes. That's actually pretty good. You at least got numbers. The startable finishes is a little bit low, but when you really look actually at our whole breakdown and you see what a lot of the guys are doing, that's a pretty good number actually to have 6 startable finishes. It's about middle of the road. He had 124 targets and led the Rams in receiving yards. He was just slightly behind Robert Woods in total targets, but he was ahead in the actual yardage. So that's pretty good.
Yep.
I like Robert Woods a lot this year. I think Cooper Kupp could get it done as well. I think his career's just kind of been plagued by injuries. That's the problem. He's on and off the field. He's a little bit of a bigger guy than you actually believe. Matthew Berry likes to call him my little Cooper Kupp, but I think it's a little.
He's
deceiving.
bigger, and I would almost say he's pretty deceptive as well.
Yeah, he's deceptively fast. And, jeez. Yeah. So Cooper Kupp's going to get you some points this year. The question is always going to be with a lot of wide receivers is that consistency. That's why I prefer leagues where you start with 3 wide receivers, because having a guy bomb out, every third week is pretty common actually. And so I think it makes guys like Cooper Kupp come across actually in the end as being underrated, because they do have the ability to perform and put up elite numbers. He didn't do it last year. But he
touchdowns weren't there, I don't think.
No, I think that's really what the difference was for him last year. So, yeah. All right, wide receiver 22. Here we go.
All right, we got T. Higgins. This is a guy that was on my team last year. I really like him. Cincinnati Bengals. He was startable in 8 of the 16 games. 0 elite games, which is top 6, but I think that's going to change this year. But he was actually wide receiver number 25 from weeks 2 through 17. He only had a few snaps week 1. They were like, oh, let's see if this guy's good or not. And like, oh, okay, yeah, he's good. Let's start him the rest of the season. But he does get Joey B back, hopefully healthy. Hopefully he'll be upright. We talked about that in the last episode. So let's see if he's upright. But, this is another one that, Joe Burrow is praising his wide receiver. He's redone his body. He's come back in the best shape already. So one thing, you subtract A.J. Green and his 104 targets, but we add Jamar Chase, who was on our last episode. He's gonna take 100+ targets as well. So I think it's kind of a wash on targets, but I just think of a better season out of T. Higgins.
Yeah, and we are aware that is not how you spell Jamar Chase. So.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's okay. Here, wait, I got something for that.
Write that down.
But yeah. All right, so here we go. Wide receiver 21. We have Chris Godwin. He would finish actually as wide receiver 23 in our 2020 power rankings. He had 8 startable finishes in 12 games that he played, and he only saw 84 targets in 2020. For me, I don't think that's likely to increase. He blew onto the scene his rookie year with a lot of targets, a whole lot of targets. And between him and Mike Evans, it was kind of back and forth all the time as to who was going to have the blow up game. And it always kind of depended on zone versus man, defense that they were seeing, as far as, a lot of teams will play zone and man. But whether or not they prefer one or the other is what it boiled down to. Well, I don't think that's what happened last year. Exactly. I don't think that's why he kind of disappeared to some extent. I think he just didn't live up to the hype because Tom Brady wasn't going to just look at one guy. He was going to look at a ton of guys. Now you've got Antonio Brown fully onto this team. He who shall not be named, right? On the team. And so I think that that's going to eat into some targets there. I think it's going to become problematic. And I'm concerned with Chris Godwin being able to hang in there at the level that we have him ranked right now. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to accomplish that. So closer to the season, he might fall down my board a little bit. I don't know about you, Justin. Do you think that he's going to stay where he's at for you?
I think he's been kind of riddled with injury, this last year or so. I don't think he was ever fully healthy. And, it's another year of Mike Evans. I don't know how much longer he can do 1,000+ yards every season. So I don't know.
How many ankles does he have left? I mean,
I don't know. I still like Godwin. I really do.
I like Godwin. I just don't like the situation. I think the situation doesn't play in his favor.
Well, it's the issue of having too many weapons. Like you basically said, there's too many people there.
Yeah,
there's just too many because you can't think it.
I think the draft capital it'll take to get Godwin is going to be an overpayment for him.
Yeah,
that's what I
just based on the share that he's going to potentially get. Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
All right, guys. Speaking of draft capital, right? We've got the Victory Draft Kit. 2021 Victory Draft Kit is here. So make sure that you have ordered it from ffbupside.com or that you've signed up at patreon.com/fantasyfootballupside to guarantee that you get the lowest price of the entire season. So we're going to help you dominate your league from day one, guys. You can't win your draft or win your league by winning your draft, but you sure as heck can lose your league by losing your draft. So make sure you get the Victory Draft Kit. We're going to help you out here. We've done all of the statistical analysis so that we can help you handle pre-draft rankings and standard PPR, half PPR, power rankings for 2020, player consistency grades from 2020. You're going to get everything. Any new addition that we drop along the way, you will get all of the updates. It's one price. That's all you got to pay. Don't have to pay for any additional updates. We're going to give you all the sleepers, deep sleepers, underrated players, overrated players, fades, hidden gems, anything you need to dominate your league this year. We're going to provide it for you. So we also on Patreon have a bunch of different tiers there, guys. So if you want, you can sign up for different tiers that give you additional access to us so that you can pick our brain for some stuff. And maybe you just want to, pay us so that you can do the opposite, right? You just get that information because we're just so terrible at this. Like,
hey, should we drop a little nugget here about what's potentially happening as well when it comes to Sundays?
Yeah. So the lowest level of Patreon that we have, I think it's just $5 actually, $5 a month. We are going to be doing live streaming before the games on Sundays. We're going to do a pre-game live stream, talk about injuries, weather, last-minute bench decisions, all that sort of stuff, like who sit, start questions, everything. And part of it's going to be available to everybody, but then we're going to go into our Patreon only setting for it. And at that point, you'll have exclusive access to us if you are one of our Patreons. And that applies to all levels of our Patreon. So if you sign up over there at patreon.com/fantasyfootballupside, and I think you could find that actually on our website. We've got a link to it.
Yep.
You will be able to sign up and you'll be able to hang out with us on the mornings before the football kicks off. And hopefully we can help you with those last minute decisions. Right? All right, Justin, Kyle. Let's dive in here. We've got wide receiver 20.
I got DJ Moore, Carolina Panthers. I really like this guy. I mean, he's still only 24 years old. He feels like he's been here forever, but he's going into his fourth year, and he's going to be 24 the whole year as well. I think he's actually getting close to most yards
for a whole year. He's going to be 24 for a whole year.
Oh, Kyle, words. I talk, I speak.
That math checks out.
Yeah, I don't know. Does it check out? Make sure you hit that button for me.
Yeah, let me find it here.
Statistics.
Well, speaking of statistics, DJ Moore was wide receiver 24 in our 2020 power rankings. He was startable in 8 of the 15 games that he played. And we kind of talked about Robbie Anderson on this one. Like, I think this is a better QB situation now that Sam Darnold's in town. And I mean, if we can just get that touchdown rate up a little bit for DJ Moore, this is a wide receiver 2 with plenty of upside into giving you some wide receiver 1 numbers. So I think this guy can just get it done if he can get the ball in his hands.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I've never been a big DJ Moore guy, but he could change my mind. He could change my mind. Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Well, yeah. Hey, let's dive in. Last one, wide receiver 19. We've got Keenan Allen. He finished as wide receiver 20 in our power rankings last year, and he had 10 startable finishes out of 14 games that he played in. He saw 147 targets. And the question is, will that continue? I think when you look at the second half of the season, the answer is no. That will not continue. The first half of the season, Justin Herbert only had eyes for Keenan Allen. I mean, he got targeted. What was it? I think 24 times in one game.
He only had eyes for him, huh?
Yeah. I've only got eyes for. Yeah. But I don't think that's happening again, guys. I think we see Keenan Allen of old, which is the roller coaster ride. 10 startable finishes. I think that probably is the record for him. It's right up there with the upper echelon of the league.
Mm-hmm.
But the other metrics that go into determining our power rankings, they include startable finishes, average points, all that sort of stuff. There's a ton of things that go into it. He wasn't as good in those other metrics. His efficiency was a lot lower. And if you had 10 startable finishes, I think that really puts you in like the top 10 wide receivers actually last year. And so it says a lot that his other numbers dragged him back to wide receiver 20 overall, actually.
Yep.
I think that tells you that this is probably going to be one of those little overrated type of players. I think somebody's going to pay for him as a wide receiver 1, but really he's only a wide receiver 2 value. His consistency is a real problem. And the second half of last year was a real problem for him too. So I think that it's a bit of fool's gold. I think that you can capitalize on the fact that somebody's going to overpay for a guy who just is not going to see the same production this coming year. And I think it's pretty obvious because you look from first half to second half of the season, and it's a stark contrast. It really is.
I'm still holding some faith in Mike Williams as becoming a real thing. He's contract
some
year,
of those
I believe.
catch. Well, he got messed up last year on that one catch that he caught a touchdown, but he was folded in half backwards.
Yeah.
And his back was not the same after that.
Yeah.
People will say the same thing, though, about Keenan Allen. He was battling injuries last year, and he still performed pretty well. But he was targeted so heavily in the first half, and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think it's the tail of the tape, right? I think
absolutely.
It's there. So you got anything else to add?
No, I think we're good, man.
All right. Hey, check out the last ranking episode, guys. It's right there on the screen. It's I think what did we do? 30 through 25 last time. So go ahead and check that out.
Yep.
Make sure you hit that like button, like we said. We're focusing on focusing on the
do
likes.
it.
All right, do it. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.
See you.